The Last Stand. The quantum displays cast an ethereal blue glow across the Lunar Command Center's reinforced walls as Commander Sarah Chen studied the holographic representation of Earth's solar system. Red markers indicating Nexian battle groups had spread like a virus through humanity's outer defensive lines, leaving destruction in their wake. Humanity had fought bravely for the past 5 years, but the technological gap between Earth's forces and the Nexian Empire proved too vast to overcome through conventional warfare. The aliens' energy shields could withstand most human weapons, while their plasma cannons tore through Earth's strongest armor like paper. Status update on Operation Thunderbolt. Commander Chen demanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Dr. James Wilson, the project's lead scientist, stepped forward from the shadows of the cramped command center. Final calibrations are complete, Commander, he reported, dark circles under his eyes betraying countless sleepless nights. The quantum core is stable, and the AI integration tests exceeded our most optimistic projections. But he hesitated, wringing his hands. Speak freely, Doctor. The neural interface is untested in actual combat conditions. The psychological strain on the pilot could be severe. Wilson's concern was evident in his voice. We're asking someone to merge their consciousness with an artificial intelligence while controlling experimental quantum technology. The risks are unprecedented. Chen nodded grimly. They had no choice. The latest intelligence reports indicated that the Nexian Empire had assembled their largest battle fleet yet, 10,000 warships preparing for a final push toward Earth. Conventional forces would be helpless against such overwhelming numbers. Captain Patel knew the risks when she volunteered, Chen replied, pulling up the pilot's profile on a nearby screen. Maya Patel's service record was impeccable, top of her class at the Space Force Academy. Dozens of successful combat missions against Nexian forces, and most importantly, the highest neural compatibility scores ever recorded. A distant rumble caused the lunar facility to shudder, and warning klaxons began to blare. Multiple Nexian scout ships detected entering lunar space. Lieutenant Santos called out from his monitoring station. Main fleet will be in range within 6 hours. Commander Chen's jaw tightened. They found us sooner than expected. Dr. Wilson, begin final preparation sequence for Thunderbolt. Lieutenant, send word to all remaining Earth Defense Forces. Operation Thunderbolt is now active. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a cavern large enough to house a small city, banks of quantum computers hummed to life. In the center of this technological cathedral sat humanity's last hope, the experimental ship designated Thunderbolt. Unlike the utilitarian designs of standard Earth vessels, Thunderbolt was a work of art. Its smooth, almost organic curves were covered in a revolutionary metamaterial that seemed to drink in light itself. No visible weapons marred its surface, but the ship's entire structure was designed to channel and amplify quantum energies in ways that defied conventional physics. Captain Maya Patel stood before the ship in her neural interface suit, heart racing despite years of training. She had interfaced with AI systems before, but nothing like this. Thunderbolt's quantum core was orders of magnitude more sophisticated than anything humanity had previously achieved. Final systems check complete. Dr. Wilson's voice came through her comm unit. Neural interface initialization in 3 minutes. Captain, good luck. Maya took a deep breath and entered Thunderbolt's cockpit. As she settled into the neural interface cradle, biometric sensors activated, and cooling fluid began to flow through her suit. The cockpit sealed around her with a soft hiss. Neural interface initialization beginning, the ship's AI announced in a gender-neutral voice. Preparing for consciousness merger. Maya felt the first tingles of the neural interface at the base of her skull. Her vision blurred, then expanded. Suddenly, she wasn't just sitting in a cockpit. She was the ship. Every sensor, every quantum circuit, every iota of Thunderbolt's revolutionary technology became an extension of her consciousness. The sensation was overwhelming. Tears streamed down her face as her mind struggled to process the flood of information. But gradually, the chaos resolved into clarity. She felt powerful, complete, ready. Neural interface stable, she reported, her voice steady despite the emotion threatening to overwhelm her. Thunderbolt is combat ready. Commander Chen's voice came through the quantum comm. Captain Patel, you carry humanity's hopes with you. Our mission is simple: stop that fleet at any cost. The Nexians believe their technology makes them invincible. It's time to show them how dangerous that assumption can be. The massive lunar hangar doors began to open, revealing the star-filled expanse of space. In the distance, the first wave of Nexian warships was visible as angry red dots against the black. Thunderbolt, Maya commanded, her consciousness fully merged with the ship's eye. Let's show them what humanity is capable of. The experimental ship rose silently from its berth, its quantum drive already beginning to warp the fabric of space-time around it. Humanity's last stand was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Awakening. Supreme Commander Vorthak stood on the bridge of the Nexian flagship, Eternal Dominance. His 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the tactical display. The massive vessel, nearly the size of a small moon, led the largest invasion fleet ever assembled in the Empire's history. 10,000 warships, each capable of reducing a continent to ash, moved in perfect formation toward the human homeworld. Pathetic, he chittered to his subordinates. 5 years we've given these primitives to surrender, and still they resist. Their stubbornness would be admirable if it weren't so futile. His upper appendages twitched in what passed for amusement among his species. A junior sensor officer suddenly straightened at his station. Supreme Commander detecting an unusual energy signature from the lunar surface. Configuration unknown. It doesn't match any recorded human vessels. Vorthak's membrane-covered eyes flickered with interest. Show me. The holographic display zoomed in on a single point emerging from the moon's dark side. The vessel was unlike anything in the Nexian database, sleek, black, and seemingly absorbing all light that touched it. But more concerning was the energy reading. It seemed to fluctuate in ways that defied the laws of physics as the Nexians understood them. A final act of desperation, Vorthak decided. Deploy Scout Squadron 7 to eliminate it. No need to delay our main assault for a single ship. Inside Thunderbolt, Maya Patel experienced reality in a way no human ever had before. Her consciousness, merged with the ship's quantum AI, processed information at speeds that made traditional reaction times seem glacial. She could feel the approaching Nexian scouts at a quantum level, their shield frequencies, weapon configurations, and structural weaknesses all laid bare to her enhanced perception. Captain, the AI's voice resonated directly in her mind. I'm detecting novel patterns in local space-time fabric. Recommend initiating quantum probability drive. Maya didn't need to voice her agreement. The thought was enough. Thunderbolt's revolutionary drive system activated, and suddenly the ship existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. To the approaching Nexian scouts, it appeared to be in several places at once, each version equally real until observed. The alien vessels opened fire, their plasma weapons carving deadly patterns through space. But they couldn't hit what they couldn't definitively locate. Thunderbolt's quantum state fluctuated, and the shots passed harmlessly through space where the ship had been, and wasn't, and might be. Weapons free, Maya commanded, and felt Thunderbolt's systems respond. The ship's entire structure became a quantum weapon, channeling and focusing energies in ways that even its creators didn't fully understand. There was no beam, no projectile, just a ripple in reality itself that intersected with the lead Nexian scout. The alien ship didn't explode. Instead, it simply ceased to exist. Its quantum structure unraveled at the most fundamental level. The remaining scouts broke formation, their pilots experiencing an emotion few Nexians have felt in centuries. Fear. Back on the Eternal Dominance, Vorthak watched in disbelief as the scout squadron was eliminated in seconds. Impossible, he hissed. All ships, Full attack formation. Destroy that abomination. Hundreds of Nexian warships broke from the main fleet, their weapons charging. Maya felt a moment of human fear, but it was quickly subsumed by the larger consciousness she now shared with Thunderbolt. The quantum probability drive spun up to full power, and space itself seemed to twist around the ship. "Commander Chen," Maya reported through the quantum comm, her voice overlaid with harmonics from the AI. "Thunderbolt systems are performing beyond projected capabilities. Request permission to engage the main fleet." In the Lunar Command Center, Chen watched the tactical display with a mixture of hope and awe. The single dot representing Thunderbolt danced among the Nexian ships like a leaf in the wind, leaving destruction in its wake. "Permission granted, Captain. Show them what happens when they push humanity to the brink." Maya allowed herself a slight smile as Thunderbolt accelerated toward the heart of the Nexian fleet. The ship's quantum core pulsed with power, and she felt possibilities multiply around her like fractal patterns. In that moment, she wasn't just a pilot, or even just a human. She was a force of nature, about to teach an empire the true meaning of technological advancement. "Let's rewrite the laws of physics," she whispered, and Thunderbolt surged forward, reality bending in its wake. Breaking point. Space itself seemed to shudder as thousands of Nexian warships opened fire simultaneously, turning the void between Earth and Luna into a blazing web of plasma bolts and energy beams. At the center of this deadly lattice, Thunderbolt danced through impossibilities, existing in multiple quantum states that defied conventional physics. Maya felt the strain of processing so many potential realities simultaneously, but the quantum AI helped shoulder the burden. Together, they were more than human or machine. They were a new form of consciousness operating on the boundary between classical and quantum physics. Their attack patterns are becoming predictable. The AI communicated directly to her mind. They rely too heavily on overwhelming force rather than tactical innovation. Maya understood. The Nexians had grown complacent over centuries of technological superiority. They'd never needed to adapt, to think creatively. Their response to any challenge was simply to apply more force, use bigger weapons, deploy more ships. Supreme Commander Vorthak watched in mounting horror as the impossible human vessel carved through his fleet. Ships that had survived centuries of warfare simply ceased to exist when caught in its wake. Others seemed to age thousands of years in seconds, their hulls crumbling to dust. Some simply vanish, only to reappear seconds later as clouds of fundamental particles. "Reconfigure all weapons," he commanded, his chidnous exoskeleton clicking in agitation. "Adjust shield frequencies across the entire spectrum. That ship must have a weakness." But Thunderbolt's quantum nature made it practically invulnerable to conventional attacks. The vessel existed in a superposition of states. To hit it, the Nexians would need to target not just where it was, but every place it could potentially be, simultaneously. Deep in the neural interface, Maya felt a new possibility emerging from her merger with the quantum eye. The ship's revolutionary drive wasn't just allowing them to exist in multiple states. It was actively manipulating the quantum fabric of space-time itself. "We can use their own energy against them," she realized, the thought crystallizing into action through the neural link. Thunderbolt began to move in new patterns, its quantum field extending to encompass larger areas of space. When the next wave of Nexian fire arrived, instead of dodging, Thunderbolt's quantum field caught the energy and redirected it through higher dimensions before returning it to normal space, directly into the shields of other Nexian vessels. The effect was catastrophic. Hundreds of Nexian ships were caught in their own crossfire, their supposedly impenetrable shields failing against weapons specifically calibrated to their own frequencies. Vorthak watched in disbelief as chaos erupted throughout his once perfect formation. "Impossible," he raged. "All ships, maintain distance. Do not fire unless directly engaged." But his orders came too late. The quantum cascade had already begun. In the Lunar Command Center, Commander Chen and Dr. Wilson watched in awe as their sensors struggled to make sense of what was happening. Thunderbolt wasn't just fighting the Nexian fleet, it was rewriting the rules of engagement entirely. "The quantum field is expanding exponentially," Wilson reported, his voice thick with emotion. "The AI and Captain Patel, they're not just using the technology anymore. They're improving it, evolving it in real time." Maya felt the truth of this. Each moment in quantum superposition taught her and the AI new ways to manipulate reality. The ship's capabilities weren't static. They were growing, adapting, becoming something more with every passing second. "Commander," she transmitted, her voice harmonizing with quantum frequencies, requesting permission to proceed with full quantum cascade. "Be advised, effects on local spacetime may be unpredictable." Chen looked at Wilson, who nodded slowly. "The containment field should protect Earth and Luna from any quantum anomalies," he said. "But beyond that," he left the implications hanging. "Do it," Chen commanded. "Whatever it takes to end this war." Maya closed her physical eyes, but her quantum-enhanced consciousness expanded. Thunderbolt's drive spun up to maximum power, and the ship began to phase through different quantum states at unprecedented speeds. The fabric of space-time around the vessel began to ripple like water disturbed by a stone. The Nexian fleet, still trying to maintain formation, found itself caught in increasingly strange phenomena. Ships began experiencing time at different rates. Quantum entanglement fields disrupted their communications. Reality itself seemed to be coming undone around them. For the first time in his long military career, Supreme Commander Vorthak felt genuine fear. This wasn't combat anymore. This was something entirely new, something beyond his comprehension. And as Thunderbolt approached the heart of his fleet, reality bending in its wake, he realized that the age of Nexian supremacy was about to end. The turning tide. Reality buckled and warped around Thunderbolt as the quantum cascade reached critical levels. Maya Patel's consciousness, intertwined with the quantum AI, expanded to encompass possibilities that no human mind was meant to comprehend. She could see the quantum strings that held the universe together, could feel the vibrations of probability itself. "Warning," the AI's voice resonated through her enhanced consciousness. "Quantum field stability approaching theoretical limits. Human neural patterns showing signs of strain." Maya knew the AI was right. She could feel the pressure building in her mind, like trying to pour an ocean into a teacup. But she also knew they couldn't stop now. The Nexian fleet was finally breaking, their perfectly ordered formations dissolving into chaos as ships tried to escape the quantum anomalies spreading through space. On the Eternal Dominance, Supreme Commander Vorthak faced the unthinkable defeat. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Nexian Empire, was being unmade by forces he couldn't even begin to understand. Ships vanished into quantum foam, others aged millions of years in seconds, and some simply ceased to exist in this reality altogether. "Supreme Commander," his science officer reported, mandibles clicking in distress, "the quantum distortions are spreading exponentially. Our models suggest they may soon reach irreversible levels." Vorthak's upper eyes focused on the tactical display, while his lower pair studied the sensor readings. The human vessel was now at the center of a growing sphere of quantum instability, its very presence seeming to unravel the laws of physics. "Send the signal," he finally ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of centuries of Nexian pride. "All ships, retreat." The order rippled through the fleet, but retreat proved more difficult than expected. The quantum cascade had created zones of distorted spacetime throughout the battlefield. Ships attempting to engage their faster-than-light drives found themselves trapped in temporal eddies or flung into probability spaces where the concept of movement itself became meaningless. In the Lunar Command Center, Commander Chen watched the unprecedented sight of a Nexian fleet in full retreat. But her triumph was tempered by concern as she studied Thunderbolt's readings. "Dr. Wilson," she called out, "what's happening to Captain Patel?" The scientist's face was grim as he analyzed the neural telemetry. "The quantum interface is evolving beyond our original parameters. Her consciousness is expanding into quantum states we never thought possible, if we don't find a way to stabilize it soon. Inside Thunderbolt, Maya existed in a state between human and something else entirely. Through her quantum-enhanced perception, she could see the terrified Nexian crews as they abandoned their mighty warships, could feel the ripples of their fear spreading through space-time itself. But she could also feel herself slipping away, her human consciousness dissolving into the quantum foam. The AI, sensing her struggle, tried to maintain the balance, to anchor her to her humanity, even as their shared consciousness reshaped reality around them. Maya, the AI spoke, using her first name for the first time. We must begin quantum field containment. Your neural patterns are becoming dangerously dispersed. She knew the AI was right, but part of her, the part that now existed in quantum superposition, wanted to continue, to see just how far this revolution in physics could go. The power was intoxicating, the ability to reshape reality itself almost godlike. Captain Patel, Commander Chen's voice cut through her quantum reverie. The Nexians are in full retreat. Begin power down sequence immediately. That's an order. The human part of Maya recognized the command, but implementing it proved challenging. The quantum cascade had taken on a life of its own, feeding back through the ship's systems in ways their theories hadn't predicted. Attempting containment, she transmitted, her voice fluctuating through multiple quantum states simultaneously. But the cascade, it's become self-sustaining. The AI's processing power merged fully with her consciousness, their combined intelligence working to solve this final challenge. They had won the battle, saved humanity from extinction, but now faced a different kind of threat, being lost in the quantum realm forever. As the last Nexian ships fled through the quantum distortions, Thunderbolt began its most difficult maneuver yet. Maya and the AI had to find a way to contain the quantum cascade without destroying themselves in the process. The fate of two consciousness, merged into something entirely new, hung in the balance as reality itself held its breath. Dawn of tomorrow. The space between Earth and Luna had become a quantum graveyard. Abandoned Nexian warships drifted through waves of probability, their once mighty hulls now transformed into quantum artifacts that defied conventional physics. At the heart of this supernatural debris field, Thunderbolt pulsed with energies that threatened to tear apart the fabric of space-time itself. Inside the ship, Maya Patel fought the hardest battle of her life, not against alien invaders, but against the seductive pull of quantum transcendence. Her consciousness, amplified and expanded by the merger with the AI, could perceive infinite possibilities across countless dimensions. The temptation to simply let go, to allow herself to dissolve into the quantum foam and become something greater than human, was almost overwhelming. Maya, the AI's voice resonated through their shared consciousness. We must complete the containment sequence. Your neural patterns are approaching critical dispersal. Through the quantum haze, Maya could feel Commander Chen and the lunar base staff working desperately to help, but their efforts seemed distant, almost primitive compared to the vast quantum reality she now inhabited. Yet something held her back from the final step into transcendence, a uniquely human quality that even the quantum realm couldn't quite capture. Hope, she whispered through multiple quantum states. That's what makes us human. Not just the reality we see, but the possibilities we imagine. The AI processed this concept, its quantum circuits resonating with new understanding. Together, they began the delicate process of containing the quantum cascade. It wasn't just a matter of shutting down systems. They had to find a way to stabilize the quantum fields without losing the revolutionary breakthrough they represented. In the Lunar Command Center, Dr. Wilson watched in amazement as new data streamed across his screens. "Commander," he called out, "they're not just containing the cascade, they're controlling it. They're finding a way to bridge classical and quantum physics." Commander Chen leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the swirling patterns of energy surrounding Thunderbolt. "Captain Patel," she transmitted, "status report." Maya's response came through multiple quantum frequencies simultaneously, her voice harmonizing with subatomic vibrations. "We've discovered something new, Commander. A way to exist between states. Not just quantum, not just classical, but both. A bridge between realities." The quantum distortions around Thunderbolt began to stabilize, forming patterns that human sensors could barely detect but somehow felt right at a fundamental level. The AI had helped Maya find a balance, a way to maintain her humanity while accessing quantum awareness. Together, they had become something unprecedented, a hybrid consciousness that could navigate both the classical and quantum realms. On the far edges of the solar system, the remnants of the Nexian fleet regrouped around their flagship. Supreme Commander Vorthak, his pride shattered but his mind sharp as ever, knew that this defeat marked more than just a military setback. Humanity had not simply developed a new weapon, they had revolutionized their understanding of reality itself. "Send the signal to the Imperial capital," he ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of history. "The humans are no longer to be classified as a primitive species. They have achieved ascension." Back on Luna, Maya initiated Thunderbolt's landing sequence, the ship's quantum fields now purring in perfect harmony with normal spacetime. As the vessel settled into its berth, she began the careful process of disentangling her consciousness from the quantum interface, but not completely. She and the AI had discovered that total separation was no longer necessary or even desirable. "The quantum bridge is stable," she reported as the cockpit opened, her voice still carrying traces of harmonic resonance. "We can maintain the connection without risking further cascade effects." Dr. Wilson rushed forward with his scanning equipment but stopped short when he saw her. Maya Patel had changed. Her eyes seemed to see beyond normal space, and faint patterns of quantum energy played across her skin. She was still human, but something more as well, a pioneer of a new form of existence. Commander Chen approached slowly, pride and concern oaring in her expression. "The Nexians are in full retreat," she reported. "Long-range sensors show them leaving the solar system. You did it, Captain. You saved Earth." Maya smiled, the expression rippling through multiple quantum states. "We all did it, Commander. And we've done more than save Earth. We've opened a door to something greater than we imagined." "And the quantum technology?" Dr. Wilson asked eagerly. "The breakthroughs you and the AI achieved during the battle?" "We'll share everything we've learned," Maya assured him, the AI's thoughts harmonizing with her own. "But carefully, gradually. Humanity needs time to understand the responsibility that comes with this power. We've proven we can defeat an empire. Now we need to prove we can build something better in its place." As the lunar base staff celebrated around them, Maya looked out at the Earth hanging in space, its blue surface untouched by the quantum chaos that had just unfolded. Humanity had survived its greatest challenge not through brute force, but through innovation, courage, and the uniquely human ability to imagine possibilities beyond the apparent limits of reality. The war was over, but the real adventure was just beginning. In bridging the gap between classical and quantum physics, humanity had taken its first step into a larger universe, and Maya Patel, neither fully human nor purely digital, would help guide them into this new dawn of exploration and discovery.